Hello, everybody.
Make sure audio good and all that.
Got to make sure we check everything. It's been a little minute.
It has been a little minute, man. 2 weeks to really marinate and everything.
I know. How's everybody doing? Hold on, before I even do that, welcome to another episode of Cultivating Conversations with BP Squared. I'm your host, Deja, along with my amazingly talented co-hosts.
DeAndre, he's here.
He is here. And we are just excited and grateful and thankful for everybody who is tuning in live and for everybody who's going to tune in after to the greatest podcast in all of the DMV. I have to always add that, like, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. Man, where do we even okay, first of all, let's do a catch up. Where have you been? What have you been up to? How's everybody else been? What has everybody else been up to? Let us know so we can
drop in the chat. Let us know what you've been doing for these past 2 weeks. I know y'all been missing us one, but man, it's been hectic, semester's coming to an end. Just been trying to get all my ducks in a row. Let's just be the best student I can possibly be. But other than that, though, outside of school, I've been good. The weather has actually not been cold. So
wow.
It's been nice getting out. It's a little rainy, but it's not it's not cold. Coats haven't came out yet. So I've been good other than that, though, and just taking in everything that's been going on and all the back and forth. But yeah, what about you?
That's good. I've been good. Trying to think since we've been on the podcast. Everything's been pretty good. I'm back working out, so that's been good. What else? Let me think. Homework, just the regular things. Applying for jobs, the regular schmegular. But we moving and we grooving. Hey y'all. And that's all we can do. Just staying positive. It has been a little chilly some of these days, but I've been good. And it is cold. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little cold. But there has been a lot that has happened since we've well, first of all, before I say that, thank you to everybody who tuned into Rice University. We had so much anyway. I saw a comment. I'm crying. We have gotten so much great feedback from the Rice University series. So I just want to shout out everybody and shout out our guests too. Like the guests who decided to join. So we had Brandon. He talked about diabetes. Then we had, who we have next, DeAndre? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, us. And then Kiana, we talked about sexual health. And then the last one we had Crystal from Abide Women. So we had a great, and we're going to, of course, continue to grow, elevate, do better. But we appreciate everybody who has been on this journey with us and continue to support every step of the way. But a lot has happened since the last time it was just me and you. It's been a lot that has gone on, okay?
Definitely.
So now let's start with this. What was your experience like? Not even your experience, but since we've had a podcast, there has been voting, there has been the election, there has been everything leading up to voting, leading up to election, and then how the election played out. So what has been your reaction experience?
Yeah, you know what? Voting was actually fairly smooth. I definitely think they took a good perspective this time and helped a lot of people, I can say, college students get to voting. They offered bus rides and they offered walking groups to poll places, and so it was a lot of good information on that. And I think my experience voting was just like last time, pretty smooth. But what can I say for the actual election? I can be honest with you. I was very optimistic. I was very optimistic on the election, and my thoughts going into it, I thought it would be a 50-50 shot, and I honestly thought Harris would have had the advantage. But I also think that I was a victim of conformed algorithms.
And then speak on that a little bit.
Conformed community, because I'm around people that think like me or that kind of have the same mindset as me, and then the stuff I'm seeing online, because the stuff I may click or like or see, that's all I'm seeing. So from my perspective, I'm thinking it's a clear shot. I'm like,
did that happen to anyone else? I'll say I think that happened to me a little bit. That definitely happened to me a teeny bit. Yeah. But no, that's a good point. Yeah, and I know that you were keeping up with it kind of in real time.
Yeah,
the results
I was.
And stuff. Yeah.
So I was surprised at how it just kind of separated very early.
Yeah.
Because from my perspective of what I saw prior to it, I'm thinking that it may be a balanced race, or she may have the advantage. But I
Yeah.
guess I was negligent of the fact of the entirety of the country, not just from
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to my own little bubbles. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
Agreed. Agreed. I didn't keep up with it in real time because I know last election, sis Joe Biden, I would like to say, the last time the results took so long to come in that we
oh
were
yeah,
literally
yeah.
watching it constantly, staying up all night, all this, and I was super stressed out. So I'm like, okay, they're not going to know the results for days, but the way those results came in a few seconds, I was like,
Yeah, that
oh
was coming
Lord,
quick. It was
okay,
coming
well,
quick.
but and let me say this first. Let me say this. Oh, mine said for sure I was feeling confident. But let me say this to y'all. We are not trying to use our platform to make people feel like they would have had to like vote for a certain person or not our live ended.
Dang, the live just ended.
How and why?
I don't know what happened.
Not our live ended. Y'all, Instagram hates us. Oh, you think it's because we were talking
Oh
about?
dang,
I don't know. This is crazy. This is why you stay on Facebook.
Oh yeah, that might be a good point.
Maybe. But we're gonna try to get, huh?
I don't know why.
We're gonna try to get back on live.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Let me go live first, and let's switch accounts, I guess.
Oh, so you want to go live on CC?
Yeah, no, I'm going live on Cultivate first, and you just join in.
Okay, that's crazy. This is great. Are we experiencing shadow ban culture right now?
I don't know. Hop on the live though.
Okay. We're gonna try this again. Bear with us, y'all. Bear with us.
Yeah,
I was just getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, our live just randomly ended on
that's
on our original page. We don't know why, so we're about to kick it back up.
Yes.
First day back, always something, ain't it? Shit.
No, that's hilarious.
Our live just randomly ended. We're not sure what just happened, but we're back on here though. Yeah, we back times 2, I guess.
we back. All right, nah. No, they didn't just try to end our live because
I don't know what that was about.
I think so. Is somebody trying to report us? I don't know.
I don't know why the live just ended like that.
Nah, that's nuts. But back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, we don't want to use. Literally, what I was saying was that we don't want to use our platform to make people feel like they have to think a certain way, but we do want to use our platform to express like our opinions and our perspectives and takes on things. So definitely, if you don't agree with us, say it. You don't have to agree with everything we're saying. We're just speaking from our point of view. I just want to make sure I make that clear. For everybody who's joining us again, our live ended for we don't know why, but we back. Okay, y'all, we back.
Yeah, but other people in the chat, how did y'all feel about leading up to election and also the aftermath of everything? Were you confident going, to the polls and casting your vote on whoever you voted for, or did you think it was going to be balanced, or how did you feel? Just let us know in the chat. But yeah. So that's how I felt though. I'm pretty sure a majority of people just joined, so they know what we said. But
yeah. So then I wanted to ask you, why do you think there was why do you think the election panned out the way that you didn't think it was going to?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay, there's two big factors. I think the first one, and then I think we could touch on the second one together. But the first one I really think was very overlooked, and people had a very optimistic outlook on what they thought about the people in America. I really do believe at the end of the day, for a lot of white or minority or people that come from religious backgrounds, that many people don't even believe a woman should be able to run a business at a top level.
That's true.
They should be able to run even their own family, and that a man should be in a power of leadership. And I think a lot of people wouldn't even cast a vote for her just because of her gender. And I think that was very overlooked, not because of policies, not because of what each candidate is saying, if it's bigotry on each side, if it's discriminatory on each side. At the end of the day, they just looking at it black and white, male and female, you know? So I
Yeah.
thought that was a big part that was overlooked. What do you think?
That's a good point. I think. I feel like I think even though she made so many amazing strides for like as far as Kamala Harris, I don't know if she had enough time, like enough. Basically, even though maybe her and Biden's views were similar, or maybe they might have had a similar campaign or similar things that they were trying to fight for in general, I just don't know if like it was clear to enough people what her true plan was, even if it was a good plan. Like I just don't, some people just, it's kind of like they looked a little on their end. It looked like they was a little unorganized. If you know what I'm trying to say. I just don't, and I don't feel that way. I'm just trying to think what other people might think.
Right.
Because I just don't know if it was able to have a proper like rollout. And she did so much given a short amount of time, but I just don't know if she was able to like have enough touch points in that short amount of time, like visiting enough places. Even though she visited a lot of places, I'm just saying doing it in ways that would have been if she started from the beginning of being a person that they would have had as their Democrat candidate.
But you were optimistic though.
I was optimistic. I definitely was optimistic because people had so many. I felt there were no issues with her as a candidate. Let me take that back. I mean, as far as I feel that when Joe Biden was running, people had so many things to say about him that I thought when they had a different option, it was like, okay, it might seem like she's a more viable candidate.
Right.
But that clearly, I guess, wasn't the case. You know what I don't like though? I hate the fact that outside looking in, now it makes it seem like majority of Americans wanted this. Like, say if you from another country, you're like, wow, they really voted for this person. You know what I mean? Ain't that crazy?
I see that. I think definitely like the electoral college and everything, but he also won popular vote too. So it's not like you can say either or, but I'm just saying that the electoral college thing definitely weighs a big, the point system and all of it. But I definitely see from both sides. Somebody said I was hopeful for a Harris outcome, but in my heart of hearts felt like he could win. Yeah. I think that was, as I started seeing the tape, that's how I started kind of feeling like, you're optimistic, but it's kind of going that way. But a big problem people was bringing up that I think people should be very informed over is the Hispanic vote.
Let's talk about our friends of the Spanish heritage.
Yeah.
What did you say?
No, I'm saying like, what do people think about that after hearing about the just minorities voting in the minority voting in general? Because people often assume that minority equals Democrat, and often that may be true in the majority like percentage scheme, but when it comes down to numbers, like for example, right? Like Trump saw an 8% increase in Hispanic voters from 2020. And even if the overall Latino voters, it was 62%, Kamala, 37%, Trump. But just that increase changes a lot. And especially in Hispanic, men voted 56% Harris to 43% Trump, which is a huge, significant, difference.
Yeah.
Like between prior years. Like that's a short margin in between two voters.
Yeah.
So
especially because it's just interesting to me, especially because he was so outwardly against that population for so many reasons, whether it was mass deportation, trying to send everybody to their countries, whether it was talking about building a wall, whether it was just like the rhetoric he was using. I think that's just so mind-blowing to me. And I also don't like that people make it seem as if it's always a Black person's job to vote somebody in, when clearly we just saw that Black people could have done as much as they could, and it still didn't work out. It's not all on our shoulders. And I want that to be stressed, because I just feel sometimes we get put that we have all this responsibility when we're just one out of the multiple ethnicities that are in this country. Like it's not all on us. So I think that's why it's important for us to bring that part up, that it was a huge Hispanic percentage that voted for him.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know a lot of, and I think it really goes back to like, how can I say? I think it goes back to just the idea of power. And I think sometimes when it comes to ethnicity groups, as long as they don't feel like they're the lowest, they're fine with that. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like the goal of just trying to be at the top, or as white as possible, or you know what I'm trying to say? So I think sometimes people disregard, like they might have looked at Kamala as still less than. We don't know.
True. And I think Stephanie brought up a good point. They didn't believe in the 2025 agenda. A lot of the policies that were being brought in by the Democratic Party, for example, like the base on gender, Hispanic culture is rooted in family and rooted in, like power structures and like you said, faith. And so a lot
Like,
of those,
yeah, faith for sure. Yeah.
so a lot of things, they naturally become conservative outlooks. So it's like when you're directly affecting the infrastructure of a Hispanic household, then they're more inclined to vote for the group that is going to favor them. And
Right.
especially like you brought up mass deportation. Even so, like even if people hate illegal immigration, or immigration in general, they still want it to be done legally. And I believe that many Hispanic Americans, like you said, still may see a difference between an illegal immigration. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
basically, and I'm not speaking because I don't know how true this is. It's just from my perspective. I believe that they see people coming from another country, even if they even have done the same thing, they see that as a little bit less than. Like, we're not the same. I'm an
Yeah.
established American citizen. We need to get some legality on these people coming in the country. So I
Yeah.
think it's still, those policies still align with them because they're seeing it from a safe and conservative perspective. So maybe that's why it changed throughout the years compared to different
Yeah,
agenda.
I agree with that. And I think it was a lot of running against, like, making people scared that their basic like beliefs were at jeopardy. Because
Yeah.
Kamala openly supported the LGBTQ community, and like she openly supported certain things that he would make people feel like if you vote for her, she's going to get rid of like the religion piece, the family structure, the things that you were talking about. But I don't know. I be trying to figure out, like, I don't know. I be trying to figure out what people at the end of the day really truly care about, because it's like you could put so much things in people's face and they still will make an excuse. So at this point, I just don't know.
I think a lot of like people, especially just after the election, just in general from both sides, that people just lack empathy overall, and it seems to be less about
It's like a personal agenda.
Yeah, like bringing prosperous and betterment of the United States in general, but just more about who can get the quickest laugh, or who can get for each party, who can get the quickest turnaround and this and that. And it's becoming worse, and people are starting to feel, just less safe in their own country.
Yeah. And I think too, like, what do you think about people who kept saying Kamala Harris not for Black people? She put a lot of Black men in jail.
Right. Right. And even that was a thing that I saw a lot going around.
That was a big point of argument for Black men and just people in general.
Yeah. And actually, it says that 21% of Black men voted for Trump, but that's only 2% more than 2020. But they said it could have potentially helped in some battleground states.
Maybe some people, I think some of them didn't even vote at all. That's the issue too, though.
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers looked on that.
I wonder. Not even trying to target them, just people in general who maybe didn't vote. So that could be like an effect on that too.
Yeah, but we got a comment here though.
Okay.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Someone said the news interviewed some Latinos, and the person said most Latinos associate themselves with being white. I've heard that before. They also interviewed a couple of them who came here illegally, and when asked why they voted for Trump, they stated because even though they came illegally, they don't want others to come here. Most don't fully understand tariffs. It's just a lot of things. Yeah, that's true. I think that happens in a lot of cultures. You'll find out, even when I would be in middle school, you know how we went to Capital City, right? And I remember being at Capital City, and there was a large Hispanic population. And I remember some of the girls who were from
El Salvador?
Well, some of them were from the Dominican Republic, but one of them who was from El Salvador, they would talk about her like trash. Like, she, Salvador's dirty. They're not as like as us, or even a girl who was Dominican but looked very much so like she could be African American. They talked about her bad. It's just so many different dynamics, and I think that happens a lot in different countries that we don't understand. So there's so much that people do want to disassociate with certain other Hispanic communities as much as possible, and we just don't be realizing that.
True, that's true. People do want to disassociate with people want to disassociate with a part of the culture that they deem as that's disliked. People don't like. Like
Yeah.
it's a part of them, but they don't want to associate with it. So if it's
Mm-hmm.
something like illegal immigration or immigration in general, that has become a
Mm-hmm.
very negative connotation just from the past few years or in general. So
Yeah.
they don't want to be associated with that at all. So as
Mm-hmm.
much as they can step away from that, is that's who they're going to lean towards. And I mean,
I
we're not
agree.
Hispanic, but I'm just basing this on information that's being
That
reported.
happens in our community. That happens in a lot of
True,
communities,
true. It has a
honestly.
lot of communities. It's not
Yeah,
just
it's not.
one
I don't want to
area.
make it like it's just them, but that's just an example because I know we want to bring up examples. What do you think is going to be threatened by this new presidency? I
Oh man.
personally sometimes I feel like because I live in DC, we see a lot more maybe than other people or just the DMV in general. Like if you live in the middle of like
Missouri.
Arizona, yeah, like you might not understand the major effects that happen, but when you're like in that city, you just see stuff everywhere. You just be like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
are there things that you feel like are going to change dramatically? I know for sure. I think one will be different, like budget cuts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Budget cuts meaning not as many opportunities and programs for like diversity and inclusion or education. Them trying to take certain things away. So I'm like nervous about that.
Yeah, yeah. I been seeing a lot of things honestly, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what first of all I want to see what people feel threatened about in the chat. Just in
Mm-hmm.
general. Just in the next 4 years, what do y'all think is going to happen? What do y'all feel threatened about? But Deja, I want to bring something up to you. It's kind of conspiracy, but I want to see if you
Okay.
think that's true.
Put my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, I've been hearing on other platforms, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of platforms, just in general about.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, everybody keeps saying this, but keep the rich richer. But like you said, with the budget cuts about like the Department of Education and just tax cuts in general, tariffs, whatever, and like supposedly pushing more working class. People are seeing that the route where they want to go in is keep the rich richer and keep people more uneducated and just continue to get these working class jobs just so that the economy keeps getting boosted, less
Mm-hmm.
people are educated, and then more people continue that are rich to get rich. What do you think about that?
I think that's 100% true.
Mm.
The whole point of the reason why they didn't even want Black people to have books or people in general. I'm talking about black people because I know at the time that was who was like enslaved
Mm-hmm.
here. But they didn't want you to learn because why? Because it empowers you to know certain things. If you are educated, most likely you're more likely to have more opportunities, more
Yes.
job opportunities, more opportunities to know different things when you have more education and more access, whatever. If you don't have that, you believe what you see or what people tell you, or you're just grateful for any opportunity. When
True.
you have more options, you're not just going to take what you can get. And they want people to have that mindset of, I'm going to just take what I can get. And so that's why they want to minimize how much access and exposure that we truly have. Like, I think if they could get rid of social media, they would. That's probably the only thing that's really saving us to be able to have information, I think. Because if they could just take away stuff in schools and stuff, they could do that. But
yeah,
I feel like social media is what kind of like evens it out a little bit. But
but it's still being, it still can be spewed a lot of ways too, with so much misinformation and just
true. That's true.
Yeah, just a lot of people believing what they see, like you said. But someone said, Street Profit TV said, I'm gonna do my thing either way, or it's me ain't stopping nothing. I feel like a lot of people feel that way too.
Yeah, and I think that's a great perspective. It's a great mentality to have because I know when it first happened, people got so down about it, which is fair. But if we have to also have the mentality of like you got to keep pushing, like you can't put all your eggs. You can't think that a government is going to make or break you, if that makes sense. Like you have to still try to do your best to excel and prevail beyond our circumstances. But I know some things people said that they think is going to be threatened is like safety, healthcare, changing in governments. Yeah, I agree with all that. I agree with
definitely.
all that.
I definitely agree with all of that, especially with just everything being Republican, House, Senate, presidency, everything.
Which means, I guess most people might know what that is, but I guess it's just basically saying like, and let's be clear, most history classes I hate it because it was just I don't know, like when they get to the government history, I'm like, what? But but from my understanding, of course, it's like within the what is this considered? Is that Congress? Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But I know it's like you have the House of Representatives and you have the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
And like people try to, based on the United States, each state is able to vote on who they want to elect in office or whatever. But I know this election around, majority of the people were Republicans, and the majority of people were Republicans for both the House and the Senate. So that means like they rule the presidency and they rule the House and the Senate. Like a lot of presidencies before, it would be uneven or mixed, so that if somebody tried to do something that wasn't right, you could like fight against it. But now they probably can do most of what they want because they rule everything.
Right.
That's they.
I'm dead.
That's just gonna get.
I mean, like we are generalizing because some people may have some Senates and House residents may have different views on certain topics.
Right.
So it's not like it's like absolute, but it's just
that's true.
Just saying, that it's a potential basically.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, DeAndre, because your party doesn't identify like everything you believe in. That's facts. That's facts.
But before we continue, I do want to bring up a topic about student loans, especially being a college student. The student loan companies have been sending out emails just talking about how even if the government attempts to cancel out student loan debts and like cancel out the companies, that they will still try to find ways to still provide us with loans and help and financial aid. So I guess that's a real prevalent thing going on because they're sending it out.
Wait, like they're trying to just give her the option of people to try to get a loan?
I guess so, because I'm getting emails just kind of like emails to reassure students and people that are on these loans that they're doing everything in their best ability to continue to get us help in need and stuff. So yeah, that's the thing that's going on too. But okay, we go to the next.
Crazy. No, I was just gonna say I was gonna go cultivate, but if you wanted to say something else.
No, I don't have anything to say. We can go cultivate.
All right, bet. So hashtag go cultivate is just the last segment we like to do to kind of just leave people with something that they can do or think about that's related to the topic. Okay.
Yes.
So the first thing, well, in general, what can we do from our seat? Meaning, this is a lot. It's a lot to digest and just think about. But one thing I wanted to just bring up is like, and I think we say this a lot anyway, but I like to stress it, is just please do your research. Don't be that person that reads a headline and think it's true. Like because even today when I was doing research on this topic, the amount of times I had to like click on 10 things before getting the correct information was crazy. Like you really got to like look to get right information. So I'm just saying, don't be on Facebook News. Like that is not, not accurate. They will tell you that Denzel Washington died, and you're like, oh, he died. It's like, no, he ain't died.
Exactly.
So yeah, sorry, Denzel. But another thing is like, I know that the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, they've been out for years. They've done a lot of stuff. Not the NCAA. Don't get them confused. They're not the same. But they do have a DC branch, and they are always looking for more involvement, more volunteers, more people who just want to be a part of it. So definitely sign up. I think there's a membership fee, which is but it's not a lot. If that's something that you're interested in.
You're going to pay that Netflix and that Hulu next month, you can pay a little membership fee.
Let's talk about it. So I know I want to mention that too. Always, of course, use your voice, use your platform. Definitely. You got anything else, DeAndre?
No, I think that's a great point. I definitely do think that a lot of what's going on now is definitely a lot of misinformation and just a lot of opinionated people that don't have any credibility. Because I remember at one point in school, you got to cite your sources.
Right, what happened to that?
Like, you got to cite your sources. You got to get your stuff from scholarly people. You got to get your stuff from people that actually have been in the field for years and years. And now you got people just making an account and they can say whatever they want. Yeah, and I think that is definitely going to be the detriment of a lot of issues and a lot of causes of people just believing, the highest follower count or the person that has the most influence. So yeah, that's not what's important. It's honestly, like he said, staying in that mentality of being able to do what you can no matter what's going on, but also being educated at the same time.
For sure. And we have another hashtag, Go Cultivate. Be there for our youth in this time of need.
Definitely.
Facts. Whatever you can do, be there for them.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I guess I do want to use this time to. Well, I'll do that after. Okay. Never mind. I do want to appreciate everybody who tuned into our first episode back after a few weeks. Life was lifing, but we are back on track, and we do have a few more episodes to close out the year. So I appreciate everybody for staying with us and supporting. Also, next week, the title is what do you bring to the table in light of Thanksgiving? That's the topic. Now it's not about that, but just stay tuned. Like you'll when we put the description out, it'll start to make sense. But the title is "What do you bring to the table?" So we are excited to be back and in the groove. And I'll get to see you next week, DeAndre. I'm so excited.
For sure. No more Miss Tuesdays for the rest of the year.
No more Miss Tuesdays.
Check out the Rice University. It was awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's all on YouTube. It's in the link in bios and all that. So thank y'all for joining us for sure. Happy to be back. Good 30 minutes.
Yes, of course. We love y'all. We will see y'all next week. As always, be blessed. Adios.
Peace.
I'm weak.